Dr. Weile. He was kind of a pioneer in 3 different fields, because he was founding Controller Academy, and this is how we kind of abbreviate it, in the year number 72. So we have jubilee now of a 40 years existence of the company. The first seminar here was even given in 71. So the first, our first stage 1 seminar out of a row of stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a diploma program where we educate controllers. Started in October 1971. At that time, the wording controller or controlling was not known at all. And this is why I say it's a kind of a pioneer and a man with visions, because he named his academy already after the word Controller Academy, although controller did not exist. Only in England, the air traffic controllers, the ones who are kind of helping aeroplanes to land safely. But still having a company with the name Controller Academy from 1972 onwards here. At the same time, and this is not so known, he started to open a company which today's name is Verlag für Controlling Wissen. This is a publishing house. This is a publishing house. And this was to him important. We have a saying in Germany, wer schreibt, der bleibt. The one who is writing exists forever. And he did even found the publishing house just a couple of months before he founded Controller Academy and published his first book, Controlling and the Controller, at that time. And more or less the idea was to protect the copyrights of the contents. Because as you know, when you are kind of a controlling school, or if you're doing speeches or whatever you do, there's no copyright. But if you have a book, then what we have written first is kind of recognized first. Let me put it like this. After his first seminar in 1971, the people said, well, we want to have something else. We want to have a second. Here, thank you very much. Controlling and the Controller. This is not the first book, because this is the English version. The English version was translated later in 1995. So it took quite a while that we started with our English program. Let's say the same program we have in German, but in English language. But 1995 is quite nice. So we will have Jubilee in 2015, which is not too far away here. But this was the name of his first book as well, Controlling and the Controller in German here. Well, to save the copyrights on the contents, on what he developed so far. I was here after the seminar. The people liked very much the way how he was doing it, and said, well, what do we do next? So he designed a next level. We call this today stage 2. And in 1972, after he founded the company, he had again this public seminar, and it were the same people finally. Became fans and said, oh, well, it's nice. What do we do next? So he came up the year after, which was then 73, with the next level, stage 3. This continued until in 1974 he had his first stage 5 program. And you can imagine, after 5 weeks being together in the group, the people liked each other. So they wanted to continue and say, when do we have stage 6? There was kind of Mr. Dyer saying, well, this is not the way we can do it. So we have to do something else. And this was in 1974, when then ICV was founded by him. So at that time the I did not exist. It was a CV, like the Controller Association, and the International was kind of added quite a couple of years later. I would say it's about now 7, 8, 9 years that we are kind of using the ICV logo and kind of the International Controlling Association. Although my colleagues from the ICV have hard times to get used that we are international, because a lot of material traffic controllers at the airport. Why not? She said, no, nothing to do with air traffic controllers. It's finance and accounting and controlling. And I looked into a puzzled face. So obviously, even in English terms, in English language, controlling, even the word controller is not used, not in UK. Controller as a word, we come across this word in the USA. So in the US, they know the word controller also for a professional function, but normally in the US, if you find the word controller, it's a high-ranked accountant or finance chief executive officer. So it's really for the highest level, and there's no controller words for, let's say, the other levels in hierarchy, which is different here in Europe. So in Europe, a controller is, you can find a controller all hierarchical levels. So there's also the controller with all the management boards, with the finance people, as well as controllers in every single divisions, depending on the size of the company. So if the company is big enough, you would have sales controllers, marketing controllers, production controllers, plant controllers, R&D controllers, personnel controllers. In every, also this is due to the fact that companies decentralized over the years and have kind of an accountant and partner and consulting partner when it comes to economics, when it comes to finance, when it comes to accounting for this particular department or area where and I could check how much money is left. I can tell you it was quite nice when it comes to the budget. As I said, it's quite easy to plan. The other question is, what is about customer satisfaction? So here you have to ask the different members, let's say, because it's not good enough if only one department is happy, isn't it? Or one customer group, one target group is happy. It might be all the plans finally fulfilled. Well, I'm very happy. Going there, I'm really very, very happy already. Childhood memories coming up. We are not in a hotel, so we are with us in the family. It's nice. My kids have worked too. It was good weather, was fine at the lakeside. Now it's the evaluation of my wife's point. I exaggerate a little bit so that you behind can still see it. So perhaps here? There's no comfort. It's a very old house, no dishwasher, no coffee machine. It's really kind of a housekeeping under severe conditions. And there's even one more person at home, it's me. But good controlling means now that we immediately detect a variance, isn't it? Variance signal, let me put it like this. A negative variance in the sense of we did not achieve what we had so far planned in this particular case. This variance signal here. Besides, the ones who have been in the seminar are not allowed to answer. What is the first question normally in your companies when sales is down or when you see a negative variance in the reports? The first question bosses or even controllers ask? No, you are not allowed to. According to your experience. What's the first question when you have a negative variance? Why? Yes. Why? Why do we ask why questions? To find out the cause? Well, to find the reasons for some deviations. So we have a negative deviation, so would we ask my wife then why? No, the why question? Perhaps. It's interesting, in a private life, we are more looking forward. So we are more looking forward into future. It's quite interesting, my wife never would ask why are we here or what we are doing. She would rather, in the evening, say to me when we're lying in bed, darling, couldn't we go to the restaurant once? This is action-driven already. And between the lines, you find this variance signal. Or she would say to me, darling, couldn't we go to Salzburg once? Salzburg is 40 minutes from the lake by car. So obviously, she immediately kind of is action-oriented, like restaurant, What is interesting as well, sometimes we controller have to translate words because R&D people, technicians, production people, marketing people use different vocabulary sometimes. So as we do in finance, we also have to translate things to the others. So going into Salzburg, you should not take word by word. This is kind of a coding behind. Have you an idea what this meant with going into Salzburg? I know my wife already, so I know what this meant if somebody says, let's go into Salzburg. Shopping, it's here. So the question now is, good controlling means now when we have some proposals, what can we do to improve the situation? And we have to check the effect of these actions. And this is the idea what we are calling forecast finally. What is the effect of these actions? And it's not so easy because the effect, of course, for my wife is perfect, isn't it? So she likes it and her, let's say, customer satisfaction would increase immediately. What do you think my little boy with 5 years, is he amused when we say, well, let's go to Salzburg? Everybody will say, oh, it's normal that we have a navigation system inside the car. It's like the air condition. In the 70s, this was an enthusiastic criteria. People were willing to pay a lot of money. Today is basic. Everything away. Legends. We will never need legends anymore. We want to have the description where it is. Legend has the problem that our eyes always have to go left and right and left and right. It's far faster. Anyway, we have Sweden here as a text. We have USA here as a text. Why should we have a legend? Text goes directly into the screen. No pseudo 3 dimensions, because 3 dimensions is not displaying, let's say, our information correctly. No serif fonts, this is Times New Roman, for instance, or any Times thing. Arial is more recommended, or derivates here. The problem of Times New Roman is, can you see the 7 here? It's a very thin line. Copy it twice, it's gone. And even if the beamer is not strong enough and you're sitting far away, it's gone. Now we have Arial, it's just the same, but a little bit clearer. Omit frames, please. No frames, we don't need frames here if they have no meaning. Frames around the value, get rid of the grids. You never need grid lines anymore. No grid lines anymore, please. No pseudo 3 dimension. Look at 2009 and 2010 here on this side. Here we have nearly 50%, which is this higher than that, but you can't see it. You can't even see it in the year before, because normally we compare always the full range.